Hello, this is the Headspace podcast where we go at the Headspace. Today we have a special guest named Holly Ann, and why don't you tell us about yourself?
Okay, I'm a visual artist. I largely paint in abstracted landscape, and which is my favorite subject matter, as you can see behind me a little bit. I've been a practicing artist for about 20 years, but started off my professional career as a scientist.
Oh, that's really interesting. Yeah, I can see all your art in the background. It's really nice. Who do you think are
Thank you.
your major inspirations?
Basically, being out of doors. I have always had a career that's involved, being outdoors as an aspect of it, and for me, as an artist, this has translated into what I paint. I start off every day walking outside, but I try to find a little bit of a forest area where I can walk in, and I, enjoy the light that filters through the trees, and that is to a large extent, a focus of my artwork.
Oh, so do you think going through nature and stuff is some sort of way to calm down and relax?
Absolutely. It's a great way to reset for the day. And I even, when I was studying, when I was in school, I would always go outside to kind of reset. And I think that that's very important for a healthy, balanced lifestyle.
Yeah, that's fair. So if someone were to be going through something hard in their life, they could go out in nature and just experience that.
Yeah, I think you get some perspective. You think of how small you are in the scale of things, and it's a good way to kind of get perspective on the bigger picture when you're going through something. Um, to see that there's more out there and than the issue that you're going through, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, 'cause I can see your art is more like kind of also looking at the big picture, I guess. Like
Yeah.
large landscapes.
Yeah, and I kind of look one series I've done is looking at the forest through the trees, which kind of symbolizes looking at the big picture rather than just focusing on the small things kind of in your day, but looking at the big picture of life.
Oh. And can you think of a time in your life where you looked at the big picture instead of focusing on the small things?
I try to do that every day. Because you can get bogged down with all the little details of your work life or your school life, and it's important to take a step back and think about why you're doing something, and look at the bigger picture to work through the small things to get to the end goal, if that makes sense.
Mm. Yeah, I get what you mean. I am in school and I want to be a doctor, so I gotta go to
Yeah.
med school. And after I'm in third year, after fourth year, I have to do 4 more years of med school if I even get in, right? Like, there's so much
Yeah.
stuff I have to go through, and
Well, and right now even you have to there's so many stepping stones to get to that point. You can lose sight of it a bit, right? Because that's your end goal, but you also wanna have a life while you're in school as well, right? And enjoy life. So, can't always just be looking for the next thing or the end goal, right?
yeah, but that's more of like the big picture, as you were saying. Like the big picture is to be a doctor, but the little
Yeah,
things would be like this test or like this grade or
exact
whatever. So you would
yeah.
say I should focus less on the individual stuff.
Well, I mean, you have to. You that field in particular, it's so challenging to get into medical school, even though there's so many doctors that are needed. It's very challenging to get in. Once you're in, it's a great system that helps you through the process and creates, the doctor that you want to be. But unfortunately, you have to focus on all those little tasks getting in. But hopefully you don't lose sight of why you're doing it. And so medical school is a whole nother thing.
Yeah. Whereas, what was your career goal? Did you always want to be a artist?
So, no. Um, my bigger picture would be that I always wanted to do something that incorporated the out of doors. So when I went to university, I grew up on a farm and I went to university wanting to kind of have hands-on outdoor work as well as um, the academic side and learning kind of aspects of the business. But anyway, so I went into agriculture thinking I didn't really know what I would do, but I love the sciences. The big picture being I wanted a job where I wasn't at a desk, I was outside and inside. So a combination of those things. So I fell in love with genetics of all things, and which is very, very micro. So it's again looking at the big picture in a sense of uh, using genetics to help humankind and people, but it's so micro, you have to still consider all those little things. I love microbiology and finding out how things work and how that impacts the bigger um, substrate, be it humans or plants. I was involved in plant genetics, so food, but never in a million years would I have thought I would be an artist. I thought I would be a scientist and then and help in the world that way. But as I had kids, I started to want to explore a more creative field, and I was gradually able to support myself with art, and um, I just fell in love with art and the flexibility it gave me as I had kids, as a parent. And I love bringing people joy when they purchase a piece or working with people to create a piece that brings them joy and fulfillment in some aspect of a memory or a place that they have a special connection with.
Oh, yeah, that's a really deep understanding of that, actually. So, do you
And
think your art is, you know, do you do you mostly do your art just for the passion then, or is it more like your job now?
it's more like my job, and they say don't make your passion your job, but I love my job. I love it as a job, and I'm still very passionate about it. I love going to work every day. It's always different. I love the business aspect of it too, the challenges that that brings. So I get to use all sides of my brain, if you believe in that. And yeah, it's been a very fulfilling career. And while a lot of the people in my family are involved in the medical profession, I sometimes feel guilt and a little of guilt that I am not helping people directly, but I feel like it helps people or it helps people in some ways. At least that's what people tell me. Like when I'm doing something for somebody and they see the piece and it brings a tear to their eye because they have a specific memory, it's very touching to me that I've been able to affect somebody and take them outside of themselves for that moment to have a memory or, um, yeah, to have a memory of a special moment or place.
Must be really fulfilling, right?
Yeah.
Like, what does the process look like when someone's asking for one of these like sentimental pieces?
They will have seen my artwork or heard about me, and they will either share a story with me. They'll always actually share a story with me about about why they're doing it. Be that something that they want to just enjoy on a daily basis because they like certain colors and themes, or because they have a special place they want to commemorate, or a memory with a parent that's passed, or something of that nature. We just figure out together what that looks like for them and how that will fulfill the goals of or their needs in terms of what they're looking for art. How they want to enjoy it every day and the space that it's in is also very important. So, yeah.
is it more like you're working one on one with them the whole time, or do they just give you the idea and then you make it like with your own mind?
I definitely make it with my own mind. That is when thing when you hire me to do a project, it is that's the point of hiring me, right? To use my mind to create the end piece. However, it's always a conversation throughout, particularly at the beginning. I've we have longer conversation. Sometimes they'll give me photos of reference that I can kind of start from, and then we have the discussion as we go through and at the end to make sure that it's kind of what they had in their mind as well, which is
I
very
see.
hard when you're using abstract or when you're abstracting the landscape because it's not a direct representation. So I love that challenge of trying to, without directly representing their memory or their place, um, I like abstracting that and still making that connection.
Mm, yeah, that's nice. Have you ever had a case where someone didn't like their art?
Of course. But and some projects are more challenging than others just because maybe of the way people communicate. But and everybody has different eyes, right? So even if somebody gives me a picture or tells me of a place, everybody sees things differently. Um, so we try to sketch it out and create what it should look like beforehand to try to minimize that happening. But every once in a while, yes, people are disappointed. But I work really hard to try to, I want people to be happy. So I work really hard to make it it's something that they can enjoy. I don't want anybody to be stressed and thinking and being worried about asking me to make changes or anything. So I'm more than willing to make changes to make people happy with the end product.
Mm, okay. That is very nice. Like, I feel like it would be kind of awkward if like I asked for one thing and then it's completely different.
Yeah,
But
definitely. And like people will ask me to do something that I'm not comfortable with sometimes, and then I will just say a solid no. Go and recommend somebody else that they could go to. So they have to know what they're getting into.
okay. And do you think your like science background has affected the way your art is done in any way?
I think it has. I think it has. I get asked that a lot, and I don't know how it maybe directly relates, but I think it's how I see things. If you look at my work, you can kind of see how I see the world, and a piece will look different when you go up close to it and farther away. And so that kind of aspect could be how I would that small details to bigger concept again. If we go back to that, looking at the whole and stepping back from my work, it looks different than when you're up close. Just like if you were to look at through a microscope versus, I went because I was in plant genetics, looking at a microscope and manipulating things at the DNA level versus looking at how the plant is growing on a larger scale. I've always had that like little bit of back and forth. I'm interested in the details, but I'm also always have the bigger picture in my head.
Yeah, I find that funny that you're talking about the big picture, but you study genetics, which is like as granular as it could get, right?
I know. It is kind of interesting, eh? Try to think about why that is every once in a while. I don't know if I have it. I think somebody needs to tell me what it is, but because I think when you're in it, it's hard to kind of always analyze yourself, but I do try to think about that when I'm painting too.
And so does that come into your effect when you paint? Like, do you start small and then go big, or go big and then get smaller?
I've used to start small and then go big, but now I've been trying to go back and forth a bit more to be a bit looser with my work. Um, so, um, so I've been trying to, I'll like go as big as, yeah, I'll go from, for example, a big brush about like 3 inches down to a brush that's like very tiny. So that's how I will work.
Okay.
That's a good
Yeah, I
way to
mean,
put it.
I don't know much about painting. Was that like a metaphor or like literally?
It's kind of a metaphor, but literally as well. So literally, I do that. I go from big to small, and um, but with the overall image, that's how I'm working through the process too.
Okay.
I'm not very good at it's very difficult to talk about your painting process when it's looser because it's hard to define all the steps. And so sometimes when I teach a class, it's v it's a good practice for me to think about what I'm doing, but I'm largely intuitive. I have a plan, but I'm largely intuitive when I start painting.
Ah, I see. Has it kind of become like second nature to you now?
Yeah, it's like putting in your hours and, yeah, definitely. Like the putting in your 10,000 hours, kind of thing. Eventually your hand just knows what it's doing and it has a memory in and of itself, right?
It's great. So you can you like kind of turn your brain off when you do it?
Yes. That's when you get that flow state going and your hand just kind of knows what it needs to do. Definitely.
Wow, that I guess that would be true mastery then.
Well, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. I remember I used to do crocheting and like I
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
like it because I had to constantly think about each thing I did, like one, two, three, whatever. I was counting it. I had to make sure everything was right. I feel like if I stuck with it for a really long time, eventually I'd just be able to do it easily.
Yeah, it's like anything else. You just put in the time and it becomes second nature for sure. Um, yeah, I know. That's why I used to crochet. I've always wanted to learn how to knit, but I just can't do the counting. I've just never invested the time in the counting.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because I thought when I started crocheting, I thought it would be like something you could just do with your hands while you're doing something else. But no, you kind of have to focus on it the whole time.
Well, one of my daughters, taught herself how to crochet and now but she did it for a long time and she can just come up with an idea and do it while she's watching TV. She makes a lot of, like, stuffed toys, and she just starts from just an idea and just, like yeah, it's very second nature to her. It's mesmerizing watching her crochet.
Wow, that's crazy. I guess everyone in your family's good at art.
Yeah, I guess so.
But yeah, going back to the painting stuff, when you're painting, do you find it like helps you like relax?
Yes, I love, it's like meditative. Even when I was starting out, um, I think I fell in love with it because I feel like it's a very meditative process and you have to focus on what's in front of you. The outside world kind of melts away.
Oh, that's nice. And you get to do that as your job.
Yeah,
'Cause I feel like most people, it's kind of the opposite, where their job is like causing them the stress, and then they have to find a way to like
yeah,
feel better outside of work.
yeah. Well, when I'm having to do the business side, which I love doing too, and I find it a challenge. Some days I'm like, I just am trying to finish off my tasks so I can get back to painting. And, um, that's the true joy of the work is actually sitting at the easel and painting. I'll enjoy the business stuff, but I'm always kind of doing it to get back to the painting.
So for people who don't paint, do you think painting would be a great way to find some peace in their lives?
I think so. And I've started doing these retreat workshops where they're kind of a couple of days in a different space where we can all create together. And for these retreats or workshops, I've had people of all skill levels, people that have painted for 30 years, people that have never painted, I've had, and they're so intimidated. But then when they start, I mean, I want to create a very positive environment. So I will help people start, and by the end, them being comfortable and wanting to know what paints they should buy and supplies they should buy. It's just so fulfilling for me to have somebody go from being terrified to put a paint to canvas to wanting to continue the um, the learning and actually use it as an exercise for them to relax at home. It's very fulfilling. Um, you kind of lose that when you become an adult too. I mean, you mentioned that you haven't really painted, but I used to teach all ages from kindergarten to grade 12 in the school systems. And there's a certain point where kids around, I think it's grade 4 or 5, where kids start to kind of get a little bit more self conscious. And before that, they're so into trying anything. And at that age, they start to be so critical of themselves, and it becomes less enjoyable. But my goal when I'm an art teacher is to kind of get them in that zone of feeling comfortable and using it as a way to relax. And so there's nothing more satisfying for me when somebody can just use it, when I can help somebody use it as a way to relax. It's great.
Yeah, that does sound really relaxing. Like, what are some of the things that people say after they finish the sessions?
That they never thought that they would feel comfortable doing it. That anyway, that they want to continue, and uh, can they call me for questions at any point? And I will always be supportive of their artistic practice.
Uh, yeah, that's a great outlet then.
Mhm.
Yeah, I feel like if I started painting, I would also be really nervous, but having someone to
Yeah,
support me and like
make you
affirm me, that would
comfortable.
be nice.
Yeah,
Painting. I wish I could. I mean, I could. I should just get a paintbrush,
yeah.
right?
It's just like anything else. You have to practice, and you have to, you have to spend time doing it.
Is it expensive?
It doesn't have to be. But yeah, there's supplies you have to buy. It's expensive for me in my practice, but I have found like very good materials that are less expensive, that so they still produce great work for people in the classes that I teach and stuff. So, I mean, there's different scales, but you can start off small.
Like, what price range are we talking?
Um, like for you could get a canvas for a couple bucks and start off with a small range of paints for maybe 10 bucks.
Okay. Yeah, that's really affordable then.
Yeah.
Mhm. And it's relaxing. You can just do it whenever. It's nice.
Yeah.
And
Do it
how
in
do you
front of the
think?
TV.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
How do people like start their painting? Do they find an art style or do they just do something that you tell them to?
When I'm doing it, I give them the option because I don't wanna pin anybody in, but, that is one of the biggest challenges I find people, expressing to me is trying to find their style, and that takes just time and patience with yourself to find something that works for you. Everybody's hand moves differently, everybody sees with different eyes, and everybody has different likes and dislikes. So it's just a matter of putting in the time again and figuring that out and not being hard on yourself. If you continue, you will find it.
Yeah, that makes sense. You think painting could be used as a form of self-exploration then?
Absolutely. Yeah. Art therapists would probably say that that's part of what they do.
Art therapy, I've never heard of that. Could you
You've
elaborate
never
on that?
Art therapy
No.
is I don't know exactly. I'm not an art therapist, but there are people that use art is as part of therapy to help people through things, through issue work through issues. Um, I wouldn't want to speak to it too much, but oh, there was an example I was thinking of.
Mm,
Oh, I can't remember.
yeah.
Oh, but something of note that I heard a couple of years ago was that Now physicians can actually prescribe art as a part as like, they can a medicine, um, to deal with certain things. I can't remember the article, so I probably shouldn't have quoted it, but
Yeah.
I have science background, so it has to be reputable, etcetera. I know how to check my sources, but I can't remember the exact quote from it, but they were looking at physicians being able to prescribe art as medicine.
Like doing art?
Doing it, yeah, yeah,
Mm, I guess that speaks to like the meditative state were talking about when you're doing art.
yeah, that would be one aspect of it for sure.
Yeah, that's great. It's like I feel like that would also be better than something like medicinal marijuana, maybe.
It probably depends on the person, but I would agree with you. It
Yeah, you
takes
can
you
just
it you're instead of taking you out of well, I don't know. I don't know how it works, but instead of taking you 2 out, it takes you out, but it allows you to focus on something while you're kind of taking yourself out of a situation.
yeah,
Your brain
that
works
makes sense.
different.
Yeah, because I feel like sometimes some of our forms of like relaxation, when we're doing it, we feel unproductive and we feel like even more stressed because we're not working towards our goals and we're like doing something unproductive. Whereas with
Yeah,
art, perhaps it feels more productive because you're still building something, you're making something, right?
yeah,
While also feeling more relaxed.
yeah. There's still something at the end that you've created, yeah.
Yeah, that's great. And I think something else like that would be like working out, because it can make you feel better and you're building your body, I guess.
Yeah, and I do love working out too. That's a great way to, work through stuff too. I go swimming and I, usually start my swim with an issue that I wanna solve, and then by the end, I'm good. I leave it all in the pool.
That's great. Yeah. So I guess like these productive forms of relaxation are better than just like
For me,
I don't know, like playing video games. Like for me, I feel like when I play video games, I feel even more stressed because now I'm thinking I didn't accomplish anything and I just wasted some
this is
time.
kind of avoidance, right, and procrastination
Yeah.
rather than yeah, that's how I would feel too.
Yeah, I kind of have a habit of procrastinating though.
Exactly, procrastination. It's it's something I struggle with too, for sure. Um, I just have to keep my internal dialogue, stop procrastinating, just do it. Work through my list.
Is that the way you've dealt with procrastination in the past?
Yeah, just have to talk myself down from it. And going for again, going outside and going for a walk, that's a great way to just shake that procrastination off. You go for a little bit of a walk, you come back and you sit down and you go through it. So bringing it back to me liking to be outside.
Yeah, 'cause I find it sometimes is really hard to like just start doing something, because when
Yeah,
you're like you just get home, you're tired, and you don't want to do anything, and then you're thinking of other stuff. So you think going out in nature is a great way to get yourself in the headspace.
yeah. I will regret not going outside for a walk. I would never regret going for a walk, you know? So just do it.
Yeah. Well, right now it's kind of cold out. I don't know if that's the best idea.
I'm from Northern Ontario, so this is nothing.
Really? Where are you
Manitoba
from?
is
Wait,
I'm
where's
from, Kenora, which is right it's just outside of the Manitoba border, so it's pretty far out.
Oh, okay. Is that more cold than like Ottawa?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. So, have you
Yikes.
ever been to Manitoba?
No, never.
It's very cold. It's like yeah, it's very cold. So for example, you could have a stretch of 10 days where it's -30.
Yikes. Yeah,
Yeah.
we were having -30 weather for a few days in Ottawa, and I was like dying.
Yeah, so
But
I'm now outside of Merrick or in Merrickville outside of Ottawa as well, and, I had never experienced that cold down here before. I thought it was starting to feel like, my old place.
yikes. Yeah, 'cause,
Yeah.
but it's over now, right? Like the
It is. Oh, absolutely. Even start I've seen some grass today, so that's lovely.
yeah, thank God. Yeah, outside it's well, I'm in Toronto right now, but yeah, it's looking better,
Oh, you're
thankfully.
in Toronto. Oh, I was in Toronto with that big snowstorm. That was crazy. It's been a crazy winter.
Yeah. And wait, so when you're talking about all the nature and stuff, in the winter, do you find you're like more, there's like less nature, so do you feel more like tired or something? I don't know.
No, I always do go outside still every day. So I, if you dress for it, the cold doesn't bother you. And I think it's beautiful outside in the winter too. The light looks different in the sky. The trees look, everything just looks different. I love winter.
Yeah. Do you draw winter a lot? 'Cause I feel like all your art is more of the summer stuff.
It is, but I did just finish a set of paintings that are based in actually the mountains in Fernie area. um, Fernie, BC. And so I love working. I work out in Canmore and so like Alberta, BC every year for a stretch of time. And so I do usually produce some winter work there.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Are you more of a summer person or a winter person?
Um, I like the change of seasons. Like I like being warm, so I love the summer, but I think my favorites are spring and fall. I like the changing season.
Yeah, it is really beautiful.
Yeah.
And it must be nice to walk around in the
Yeah.
nature.
Yeah, and moving down here from up north, it's been fun to explore all the different colors that are here in the fall. Up north, it's a lot of gold, a little bit of orange, but here there's so many different colors in the fall. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, and you could probably portray that in your art, can't you?
Yeah. So I like spending some time in all the places I paint across Canada, and I think it really reflects in the artwork that I make. It's a big part of it, being actually immersed in the outdoors for the specific places I'm painting.
So can you think of like a pivotal moment in your journey as an artist that kind of made you the person you are?
Um, yeah, yeah, there's been a few. In 2014, I just decided to go full on, and I just decided this is going to be what I do. And that was probably the most pivotal moment for me as an artist. I decided I was going to do everything I needed to from a business standpoint to make it happen as well, so that I could make it a viable way to live. So I could, support myself and help my kids and all those things, as well as uh, paint. Another one was when uh, in 2020, I started a master's in landscape architecture as well. And so it changed a little bit the way I think about my artwork. It gave me a little bit of exposure to some theory about how we think about the landscape we live in, and some confidence to explore aspects of the landscape that I hadn't thought of before. And so it just expanded how I interpret the landscape. So that was really enjoyable too. Plus, I love going to school and learning new things. I think learning is um, a lifelong skill, um, an aspiration of mine. I love learning and yeah, I think I'll never stop learning.
Yeah, I don't think any of us will,
No.
hopefully.
Yeah.
Do you find learning is also relaxing for you?
Um, it's very stressful in the moment, particularly if you're taking a class and you're trying to get the concepts because um, you want to do well. But the feeling of accomplishment when you finish something and gotten it, is so fulfilling. I would just, yeah, it's the best feeling in the world when you've gotten a concept, right?
Yeah, I
Even
can
though there's
relate
a
to that.
struggle. Yeah.
Definitely.
Your
Yeah,
program
it's really
is very challenging, hey? It's almost like doing a master's degree in and of itself.
kind. I guess so. Yeah, it is challenging, but yeah, the way you talked about like when you understand it is fulfilling. Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think
And
that's
having
good though. That's how
the
it should
confidence
be.
yeah.
Pardon?
Having the confidence to that you know you're going to get there, it just sometimes takes a little bit longer
Mm.
than you think or
Yeah,
want
like
it.
looking back at the bigger picture, as you said.
Yeah, definitely.
That's wonderful. And your paintings are like the bigger picture as well, aren't they?
Yep, definitely. Yeah.
It's funny. Yeah, I've just been looking at your paintings in the background a bit. They are really nice.
Thank you very much. I like to
Are they
explore
like,
and the way it makes you feel.
could you say each of the paintings you make is like kind of says something about you, how you were feeling in the moment?
Absolutely, definitely. Um, I mean, I paint every day whether I feel like it or not, so I always show up because you just never know. But definitely, I think my mood is reflected in it, and sometimes paintings will take a little bit longer because I have to work through something, but I always still show up to give myself the opportunity to do that.
Mm. So if you're, perhaps if you're in a worse mood, how does that affect a painting?
It probably makes me a little bit more heavy-handed, in terms of, being critical of myself, so I might make more changes to something than I intend to because I don't have that confidence that I'm going to achieve it. And so in that case, I step back and I on those kind of days, I'll leave it and come back to it more times than I would on a day where I'm, you know, excited to get in there and having a good day, you know.
Yeah. Does it change like like more like the final product? Does that look different in
Um,
any mood?
yeah, sometimes like darker colors when I'm feeling like for example, when it's been cold, I've had a little bit of darker colors because it just feels colder and I just want to have the warmth of the forest around me. Um, so I've been exploring a lot of forests where you're walking through and it's a little bit more enclosed. So yeah, I guess that does directly relate to what comes out in the end.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I never thought about that. So like do you think your feelings are being expressed through the paintings? And
Yeah, I think so. I don't know that I would. Yes, that's not the only thing. I still have a kind of like a goal of accomplishing certain tasks, but definitely that's a part of it.
mm, cool. Well, it looks like that's all the time we have for today. It was
Okay.
nice talking to you though. I think we had a really good conversation and I really enjoy your talk about
Yeah.
your art and your experiences.
Well, I enjoyed meeting you.
If anyone,
Sorry.
thank you. Yeah, no problem. If anyone wants to reach out to you, how could they do that?
They can find me online. I'm at hollyannfriesen.com or on Instagram at hollyannfriesen.art.
Can you spell that out?
Yeah. HO like verbally, or do you want me to?
Yeah, yeah, for the listeners.
Okay, sorry. Not just for you. Okay, it's HOLLYANNFRIESEN dot art on Instagram.
Okay. Yeah, sounds great. And someone could ask for a commission, for example.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Or
sounds good.
ask me anything about my practice too, anytime.
Okay. Well, yeah. That's everything, and it was great talking to you.
Okay,
Bye.
thank you, Keegan. Bye.